up everyone, and welcome to my review for Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs 2, which of course is the sequel to Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs, which was an animated film from 2009 that I actually really loved. I thought that was a great animated film, very funny, very inventive. The animation was fantastic, all the characters were really likable. So when I heard there was going to be a sequel and it was losing the directors and the writers of the last film, I was a little skeptical, but I was still looking forward to it. The trailers looked very inventive, very fun, just like the last film, so I was still excited. So what did I think of Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs 2? Let's talk about the story. The story for Cloudy 2 follows Flint Lockwood, Sam Sparks, and all their friends once again as they return to Swallow Falls, the place that they lived in the first film that got completely covered in food because of Flint's machine that creates water, turns water into food. So, of course, they have to return there because of a guy named Chester V. Chester V is Flint Lockwood's idol, and Flint really wants to impress him. So Chester is all like, hey, dude, I need you to get that machine that you made that you destroyed in the last film. I need you to get that for me and destroy it because it keeps creating food monsters, and the food monsters are trying to learn how to swim. And if they know how to swim, they're going to come and screw up our stuff. They're going to kill us. They're going to hurt me. Okay, so you have to go there and stop that. So of course Flint's like, rightio, and he gets all of his friends and he goes back to Swallow Falls, even though it's very dangerous. Food monsters everywhere waiting to kill them. But they go, and they have to go and find out where the machine is, destroy it one last time, and that's the story of Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs 2. The story is extremely basic and has a lot of very repetitious stuff in it, meaning that if you've seen an animated movie where the main character becomes a jerk and all of his friends just don't like him anymore, and then later on they become pals again, if you know what I'm talking about, they do that in this film. There's a lot of animation tropes that we've seen in movies like this before. So even though the story is basic and the tropes are definitely there, it's a very entertaining story just like the first film. The characters are just as likable as ever. The uniqueness with all the creature designs and stuff and the animation itself is just very entertaining, and it just never stops. It's so well paced, it just keeps moving, never stops. Even when jokes don't work, they just keep going and you're just like, oh, that wasn't fun, oh, I didn't even finish that, now there's more jokes, and it just keeps going. Kind of like me, I don't stop when I talk, I just keep going. Alright? I need to talk about everything. Just keep going. Oh, while the story is basic and very cliched, it's still just entertaining. Never stops. It just keeps on going with the animation, the monster designs, the characters themselves, the jokes. It just keeps going and it never really gets boring. So I really enjoy this story. Cliched, but fun. I also really thought the voice acting was great here, just like in the first film. You got Bill Hader playing Flint Lockwood again. You got Anna Faris as Sam Sparks. You got Terry Crews who replaces Mr. T in the film. You got Benjamin Bratt, Andy Samberg. I'm gonna forget someone. It's coming. It's got Neil Patrick Harris, Will Forte who plays Chester V. James Caan who plays Flint Lockwood's dad. You got a great cast of voice actors here, and everybody does a great job. They add a lot of charisma to the characters, and you can tell they're all having a good time. Seeing that, you know, it's a movie that's so manic and crazy with their animation, you could tell if someone's being, you know, someone's just not caring when they're voice acting. You know, they're just lazy or bored. You can tell if they are, and they definitely aren't. They're just having a good time. So yeah, the voice acting here is great. The story is a lot of fun, even though generic. I think it's all good so far. But it actually gets better because the animation in this film, just like the first one, is gorgeous. There are shots where you see the entire island, you see rock candy mountains, big bananas and stuff, cheeseburgers everywhere. It's just so colorful and so vibrant. It's just beautiful to look at. Sometimes it actually looks like a painting, which I wouldn't be surprised if sometimes they actually use paintings and not just 3D models. So I thought the animation itself was gorgeous, but it's also very inventive, like I said before, with some of its creature designs. It's really cool to see, like, a cheeseburger with fries for legs, and the seeds on the bun are actually eyes. I don't know, just creature designs like that are really cool. Also, if you love puns, this movie has tons of them. There are so many freaking food puns that you'll be like, I'm in pun heaven. There's so many puns. You'll love it. I mean, there's so many puns in this film. And if you don't like puns, just don't go see it, because you'll be like, oh my god, Another cheeseburger pun, Jesus Christ. So if you like puns, you'll love this film. But not only that, the animation actually supports the comedy in the film. There was just a lot of times where I laughed out loud because a character was moving in such a way that was, like I said before, very manic, but just so funny. One character in particular, Chester V, I don't know what he's made out of, but he just moves like he's a noodle. Like I don't even know how to explain it. You need to see the film. But the animation is so good. But his character made me laugh every time he moved around. There's one part where you just see his hands and it keeps going down, and I don't even know how to explain this joke, to be honest. You have to see the film. I can't even explain it. Just the animation actually supports the comedy. Now, sometimes the comedy in the film could be a little bit too kiddish. I mean, it's a children's film. I won't lie, but the first film didn't really have all those very obvious like kid jokes. Here, there's some fart jokes. There's some, oh, I'm gonna cut the cheese, and they cut like cheese and fart noises. Someone's fat, so they can't go through a pipe or something. They didn't really do that in the first film, and here I think they were tending too much to the kids. Which it's a kid's film, so it makes sense. But the first film didn't do that, so I was hoping they wouldn't do that in this film, and they did, which kind of sucked. But still, the animation was gorgeous. The characters were likable. It was still very funny, even when it did all that stuff. And it was very manic and crazy, so it was never boring. So overall, I really like Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs 2. It's not as good as the first film, but to be honest, that's one of my favorite animated movies in the last few years. So it's kind of hard to do that. I still really like this film. I'm going to give it a 34 out of 40. Very good film. Definitely go check it out, especially if you like the first film. Just make sure you bring one of your little kids, because I felt extremely weird in that theater with a bunch of little kids, and especially watching the trailers. That felt really weird. So there you go. There's my review, 34 out of 40. Thank you and goodbye.